Each one of us have to understand our own identity and we need to stick to our own traditions and culture. Ranga was impressed on the innocence, on the beauty and on her talent. Shyama was very impressed by Ranga. Now, this marriage became a very important part of everyone's life. So, everybody were very surprised to see him. He wanted a girl whom he actually admired and whom he thought that he could live the life with that girl. Hello students and welcome to Prep School English classes. Today's topic, Chapter 3 from your snapshot textbook, the lesson titled Ranga's Marriage. When we look at the modern world, it is sad to see that we individuals have forgotten our own roots. When I say roots, it is related to our own traditions, our own culture, our own ethics, our own language, and the place where we belong to. So, Ranga's marriage shows us the importance of our identity. Our identity is not our profession. Our identity is not our education qualification. Our identity is our tradition. Our identity is our culture, our own traits, our own language, and our identity is our place where we belong to. So let's see what is the lesson all about. I will be discussing today who is the author, what is the theme and the title of the lesson, what are the significance, what is the moral, who are the characters in the lesson, what are the words in context with a summary and related expected questions and the conclusion of the lesson. So, moving forward, let's look at who is the author of the lesson, Ranga's Marriage. The author, Srimasti Venkatesha Iyengar, very popular writer, very lovable writer. He has got the Jnanpith Award and he is a very well-known Kannada writer, belongs to the state of Karnataka. So what is that he wants to tell us in Ranga's Marriage? He has given us a very natural story wherein each one of us have to understand our own identity and we need to stick to our own traditions and culture. So moving forward, let us see what is the lesson, what is the overview of the lesson. So when you look at the story, the very title tells us that it is a story of a marriage. It is a story of a marriage, Ranga's marriage. Here Ranga means Rangappa, a young boy. And how does he get married? And the central idea, what is the central idea of the lesson? Customs and traditions of village life. The author has stressed himself to a very one particular village where he belongs to, and the customs and the traditions are highly valued over there. So the customs and the tradition of the village life is a central idea of the lesson. Moving forward, what is the theme? The theme is the conflict between tradition and modernity. The conflict between the tradition and modernity. If you look at ourselves, we like to be dressed in a modern way. But our tradition, the way the dresses go by us is more elegant, isn't it? So, conflict between the tradition and the modernity is the central theme or the theme around which the lesson revolves. So that being the story, central idea and the theme, let's look at what is the message that the lesson will give us. The message highlights the struggle to reserve, means to protect our own culture against westernization. So what is the message that the lesson gives us? we have to protect our own culture from westernization. So that being the message, let's look at what is the moral of the story. Exposure. Whenever we get exposed, we should not take away one's culture. For example, we are from a village. We live in a village, or we live in a particular community which holds a lot of culture and tradition in it. But the minute we go out on a professional working mode or on a higher education, that doesn't mean to say that we have to forget our own culture. So when we get exposed outside, we need to retain, we need to hold back to our customs and traditions. So that being the moral, let's see what is the conclusion of the lesson. Predications about one's own life can prove to be wrong. If I say that I want to live my life like this, I look forward that my life is going to be like this. So predicting one's own life, we might be really wrong. So predications about one's own life can prove to be wrong. So this being the message, moral, conclusion, what is the story about, what is the central idea, and what is the theme, let's move forward to understand who are the characters in this lesson. So let's look at the characters in the lesson. The first one being Ranga or Rangappa. So who is Ranga? He is the main hero on whose marriage the lesson is all about. So he is the son of the accountant. So Ranga or Rangappa is a young boy. It is his marriage that the lesson is all about. Followed by Shyama. Shyama is a middle-aged man. He is the narrator of the story. So he is the narrator, and how is he related to Ranga? He is Ranga's neighbor. So how is he related? He is Ranga's neighbor. So Shyama, who is the narrator of the story, he is Ranga's neighbor. The next one being Ratna. Now Ratna is an orphan girl. Ratna is an orphan girl, and Ranga is actually getting married to Ratna in the story. Now this girl had lost her parents earlier, and she lives with her uncle called Ramarao. Now Ramarao's character is nothing much, so it is not mentioned, but remember Ramarao is her uncle. So Ramarao's niece is Ratna, and in the story she becomes Ranga's wife. Next you have Shastri. Shastri is a village astrologer. So Shastri is a village astrologer, and the last character who doesn't come into picture at all, but he is mentioned as Ranga and Ratna's son, that is little Shyama, son of Ranga. So knowing these characters, let's go into a little more detailing of the particular character. The first one being Ranga. I told you his full name is Rangappa. So he is a young boy. So what is it about Ranga? He is a son of the accountant. He is a son of the accountant. He was educated outside. He lived in the village, but his education was in a city outside. That is a speciality, because back then in that village, nobody would send their children to study outside. So when they study outside, the culture, the language, the tradition, everything, they get exposed to something new. So he studied outside, and where did he study? He went to Bangalore. He studied at Bangalore, and he had not changed when he returned. The speciality here is Ranga, after he came back from his education, after completing his education, he had not changed. So that is very, very special that he had not changed when he came back to his village. So he follows the traditional courteous behavior. He follows the very traditional, courteous, very well behaved, very mannered, well mannered, very disciplined, that kind of a behavior he is still in. That means, as a city boy, he had not changed. Now, views on his marriage were a little different. He did not believe that arranged marriage was something what he looked for. He always thought that he had to get to know the girl. He has to get married to the girl of his choice who thinks the similar way as he thinks. So he wouldn't believe, his belief on marriage was a little non-traditional. So that's about Ranga. He is the son of the accountant. He was educated in a city, Bangalore, and when he got back to the village, he had absolutely not changed at all. He still had the courteous mannerism, and his views towards the marriage was a little non-traditional. Moving to the next character, she is Ratna. She's a very young girl, maybe 11, 12 to 13 years. So Ratna is a young girl. She is an orphan, I told you, and she was living with her uncle Rama Rao. So in the lesson, she is known as the niece of Rama Rao. So what is it about her? She is a young girl. She is just 11 years, and I told you she is an orphan girl. That means she did not have a parents. She had lost her parents. So she was living with her uncle Rama Rao. She was living with her uncle Rama Rao, and she was very pretty. She would sing very well. She would play veena and harmonium, and she actually impressed Ranga. Ranga was impressed on the innocence, on the beauty, and on her talent. Ranga was actually impressed, and she changes his view on the marriage. All the while, Ranga thought that the marriage cannot be arranged. His views on a non-traditional marriage were a little different. So it was Ratna who impressed Ranga and changed the views of Ranga towards marriage. So she is a multi-talented girl, a young girl, but she possesses a lot of talents and she's a very sweet girl. So that being Ratna, let's move forward to understand Shyama. I told you Shyama here is the narrator. So he is the neighbor of Ranga. He is the neighbor of Ranga and he has seen Ranga grow up from a very small age. Now, what is the interest here? He is also very impressed by Ranga. Okay, and he plans, he aims, and he had taken it up that he has to get Ranga married. And he suggests Ratna was the exact pair for Ranga. So, in the story, he plays a role wherein he tries his best and successfully gets Ranga married to Ratna. So, what is it about Shyama? He is the narrator. He is Ranga's neighbor. He is Ranga's neighbor. He is impressed by Ranga's cultured behavior. Though he has seen the boy when he was very little, but still, after getting education in a city, coming back and possessing the same mannerism without even a bit changes in him, Shyama was very impressed by Ranga. So, he plans a strategy to get Ranga married. So why was that planning so important? I told you Ranga's marriage views were different. He wouldn't agree for a arranged marriage. So Shyama was very eager that he gets married to Ratna. So he puts a strategy to get Ranga married. And he carries a lot of confidence in whatever he is trying to do. So that is about the narrator, a very confident man, and he is the neighbor to Ranga, and he is the main person who plans to get Ranga married to Ratna. So moving forward, the next character here is Shastri. So Shastri is an astrologer of the village. So the main role of Shastri is to pretend and act in the plan that Shama had done for Ranga's marriage. So what is it with Shastri? He is a village astrologer. He plays his role as tutored by Shama. When I say tutored means whatever Shama had told him, he played that role. What do you think Shama would have told? It's everything related to Ranga getting married to Ratna. So he plays a role as a tutored by Shama, and then he supports Ranga to get married. He really inspires, he really supports Ranga to get married. He does not like to be treated shabbily. Just because he's an astrologer, he doesn't like anybody looking down at him. So he doesn't like to be treated shabbily, asserts knowledge of Shastra. So he's a very knowledgeable person about all Shastra, particularly whatever the village wanted and whatever the village actually believed him. So that is about Shastri. Moving forward, you have this little Shama. I told you there's nothing much about him. He is the 3-year-old lovely son of Ranga and Ratna. Now, why do you think he's named Shama? Because they carry a lot of gratitude, because Shama, the narrator, was responsible for Ranga and Ratna to get married. So since this little boy was their first son, they named him after the narrator Shama himself. So he is little Shama. Now what is it about him? He is the son of Ranga and Ratna. He was named after the narrator because the couple carried gratitude to the narrator. The couple carried gratitude to the narrator. So these are few of the characters that you got to know in the lesson. To repeat, Ratna and Ranga, they are the couple actually, and the narrator is Shama, and Ratna's uncle is Rama Rao, and Ranga's father is an accountant. And then you see Shastri, who is an astrologer. And lastly, you see Ranga and Ratna's little son, that is Shama. So with this, let's move forward to understand what are the words in context. Now, when I tell you all words in context, that means to say there are few unfamiliar words in your textbook which in all the lessons I have stressed on. So once again I am telling you all, while you read the lesson in detail, coming across such unfamiliar words and skipping them will not go good. You have to understand the meaning by relating it to the context. So, few of the words I would have put it up here. I am sure you are familiar with few of them, but if you aren't, just get to know them. Also understand you will have no question in the examination asking, write the word meaning. No, it's only for your betterment. It's only for your good that you get to know the meaning, so that answering the questions will become simpler. So let's look at the words here. When I say cartographer, so what is a cartographer? A person who draws or who sketches or who outlines the maps. So a person who sketches or draws or outlines maps is called the cartographer. Next, glowingly, with much praise, with much appreciation is glowingly. Flee. Flee is troubling persistently. There's a trouble persistently. That is flee. Next one, rare breed is a very uncommon person. Rare breed here is a uncommon person. Pleasantries means courteous social remarks. Pleasantries, social remarks which are courteous. Muttering is complaining in a very low tone. What is muttering? Complaining in a very low tone. Pursue is continue. Continue means pursue. So, few more to go. Mill around means throng. What is milling around is throng. Then melted away, disappeared gradually. Disappeared gradually is melted away. Next is troop. is a group of actors. Wand is slender stick or a rod. That's a wand. And then priceless commodity is a valuable knowledge. Valuable knowledge is priceless commodity. Paise is the unit of coinage. All the coins, the changes, they would call it as paisa, isn't it? So paise is unit of coinage. Rambling is talking aimlessly. So these are few I have picked up. Some more you will get to see while you read the textbook. For now, quickly have a glance at the words. So I hope you are able to get these words. Moving forward, let's see what is the lesson Ranga's marriage all about. Now, the title Ranga's marriage. Ranga is an individual and marriage is getting wedded. So the title is very simple, no complication, and you will truly understand that the whole lesson is about his marriage. Now, dear children, your lesson is around 5 to 6 pages, and line to line to pick it up and bring it here and explain is just not possible, and that will get you boredom also. So, I have divided the lesson into subtopics and given you a short summary. But it is important for you to read all the pages of the lesson. I hope you will do it for me, and that will be good for yourself. So I will be discussing the lesson under these subheadings. The first one, let me give you a short introduction and about Hosahalli, the village, what the narrator is very proudly talking about. In detail, it is there in the textbook. Here shortly, I'll just touch upon Hosahalli village, and then about Ranga's education and Ranga coming back home. That was a very great event. Ranga coming back home was a very great event. That's important question also for you. And then the narrator's effort to get Ranga married. That is a whole lesson. The narrator his effort in getting Ranga married. And finally, let's look at what is the conclusion of the lesson. So, let's move with an introduction and then let's get to know what is Hosanali village and then Ranga's education. Why was this coming back a great event? What were the attempts of the narrator to get Ranga married? And finally, how does the lesson conclude? So, let me tell you all about the introduction now. So, it is about child marriage back then in British rule. So, the lesson starts about giving one or two lines about child marriage. So, what is it about? Dates back to the British rule. It is much back then. The village life was very slow. All of us know with fables and stories and what your grandparents tell you that the village life back then was very slow. Child marriage was very common. Now this marriage became a very important part of everyone's life. In the journey of life, the parents, for them to get their children married was very important. Getting education, educating them, sending them to job, all that was secondary. So child marriage was very common, and interestingly, what happens in this lesson, the narrator brings a change in idealistic views. The narrator is trying to get a change in this lesson in the views about the child marriage and overall about the marriage. So that's about the introduction. Moving forward, we look at the title. Now, there is a question, why is the lesson not given a fancy title and it is only given as Ranga's marriage? It's as simple as that. So, the narrator has to say that the more important thing for him, more than the title, is about the village, that Hosahalli village, the values, the traditions, the culture. So that is why he kept the name of the lesson, the title of the lesson as simple as possible. So he did not want to give an elaborate title. The story is about a common boy and his marriage. The story is very, very simple. What did he come across? It was a common boy and it is his marriage. And he was a native of a village and he wanted to keep the title in that way itself. Next, moving forward, in the lesson, the narrator talks more and more about Hosahalli village. You see, there's a lot of pride, there's a lot of love when he talks about Hosahalli village, and he says that there is no other place in the entire world which can replace such a beautiful village. It is in the district of Mysuru, and then what is so special about there is the sour mangoes. The sour mangoes. If people have to really taste the mangoes, they need to visit Hosahalli, is what the narrator tells. And also, life is so simple. If you go to the lakes, you see all these leaves, and those leaves can be used as plates to have food also. So there's a lot of things that he tells about Hosahalli village, and the way it has been narrated, you see that love, you see that admiration which flows in the narrator towards his village, that is Hosahalli village. So what is it about? It's a very small village. It is not mentioned in the geography books at all. You don't find that even in the maps. Okay, so highly spoken about, but the village, the people talk very high about it, and it is famous for sour mangoes. It's famous for sour mangoes. The creepers and the leaves growing in the pond, that is also it is famous for, and one needs to visit personally to believe. So the narrator, when he's talking about Hosahalli, is keeping it in such a big, great height, and he shows a lot of pride in talking about his village. He says it's a small village, though it is not mentioned in the geography books, or though it is not sketched in the world map, but you will never see such a beautiful village. And to feel the village, one has to personally visit. And it talks about the mangoes and the leaves that grows in the pond. So that's about Hosahalli village. Moving forward, we will see a difference what Ranga made in the story. Now when you look at that, he looks like a graduated student, isn't it? So graduated boy who finished his education, he comes back to the village, and then all the people in the village want to see him. They're very eager to see how he has become, what does he speak, what does he dress, how is he, all right. So back then his father was an accountant, only he knew a little bit of English words, but nobody could even understand the language. And he was one brave man who sent his son, who exposed his son to a city life, to a city education. So now since he has come back, everybody are very eager to know about this particular boy. So the difference here is about the accountant, his father, who took that brave step in sending his son out of the village to a city to study. So what is it about? Shyama recalls an incident. Who is Shyama? He is the narrator. So he recalls an incident which happened 10 years ago. It's about the village accountant. His name is not mentioned in the lesson. So understand, village accountant is the father of Ranga. Was the first one to courageously, very boldly, he sent his son to Bangalore to study. So he was the first one from Hosahalli village to be so courageous to send his son to city, that is to Bangalore, to study. Now, not many people knew English then. Not too many people knew English then, but it was the accountant who could manage one or two words. So, thus, the accountant made a difference in Hosahalli village. And the narrator talks about it 10 years ago. That is what it is stated in the lesson. So, next, going forward, so he has come back. The boy has graduated, or he has finished his studies, and he has come back. Who is he? He is Ranga. Now that is a very great event. So why is it such a great event in the village? Somebody who has gone out, studied, come back, They thought that his style could be different. He might look differently. He might dress up differently. He might speak differently. His attitude towards the village and the village people must be different. His mannerism would have changed. His obedience would have changed. So when he was coming back, the whole village wanted to go and gather to just have a look at Ranga. So that was a very big event in village Hosahalli. So what is it about? Ranga's coming back home after studies was called a very great event. A big crowd went to greet him. There was a big crowd who went and greeted him, who went and welcomed him. So everybody were very, very surprised to see him. Why were they surprised to see him? That is because he had not changed at all. He was the same boy, the same Ranga, how he looked and what he was before he went to city to study. So he had not changed. So that was a very big surprise to all the people who had gone to greet that boy. So they realized his simplicity. He was very down to earth. He didn't carry that attitude that he has come from a city. So they admired his simplicity. Now, the narrator was also a part of it. In this great gathering, the narrator was also one there who was also trying to get a view of this boy. You have to go through the text. It is very interestingly written there about how the narrator felt at that incident. So Ranga smiled and waved out at everybody. So Ranga met the whole gathering. He smiled. He was very simple. He was very polite. He passes on his smiles and his gestures to everybody. So that was a great event of the village. Now moving forward, narrator plans to get Ranga married. Now narrator, when he looks at the boy, he thinks that this boy should be married. So why does the narrator think like that? That's because he's been the neighbor to this boy and he's seen this boy grow also. And now since he's a grown-up boy, he wants him to get married. So he visits Ranga's house with Orange. Now he wants to get to know what's running in Ranga's mind pertaining to marriage, isn't it? So how to talk to him? The narrator, what does he do? He visits Ranga's house with oranges. Now, he felt Ranga was very fine and a very generous boy. So, when he met Ranga, he really liked him. He really admired him. And he thought that he was very generous and he was quite well learned also. So, there was nothing wrong in the narrator thinking that he has to plan for his marriage. Now, should get married and settle down was his only aim. Shama, the narrator, thought that Ranga should get married and he should settle down. So he inquired about his plan. So in the general talking, Shama, the narrator, talks to Ranga and finds out his plans about his marriage. So what does Ranga tell? What are the views about the marriage? Have a look at it. Ranga's reply to the narrator when asked about his marriage was he didn't want to get married so very soon. Okay, he did not want to get married so very soon. Recollect that the village had the habits. The village followed child marriage, but Ranga did not want to get married so very soon. And so he says he would want to search for a girl who is matured enough. That means he is not looking for a little girl. He is against child marriage. And then he wanted the girl whom he admired. He did not want to get married to somebody whom others would suggest, his parents or uncles or the village people who tell him, "Arey, there's a girl here, you get married." No. He did not want to get married or settle down in such a way. He wanted a girl whom he actually admired and whom he thought that he could live the life with that girl. And then he was not in favor of arranged marriages. He did not want arranged marriages at all. He did not favor arranged marriage. So, till he got the girl of his choice, he remained as a bachelor. So he wanted to remain as a bachelor until he got a girl of his choice. So Shama goes to Ranga's house to get to know Ranga well, and then gets to know that Ranga's marriage views were different. He did not want an arranged marriage. He did not want a girl who is not matured enough. He wanted to get married to a girl with his choice and at the right time. He wanted a girl whom he admired and whom he loved. So until then, he said he's going to remain as a bachelor. So next, what happens? So the narrator is in great distress. The narrator is in great distress. Why? When he learnt about Ranga's views on marriage. When he got to know what are the views of Ranga towards marriage, the narrator was in distress. So that put narrator Shama into a little worry because Ranga, he wanted to have an arranged marriage and he did not mind waiting until he got the right girl. Until then, he said that he would be a bachelor. So, what is it about the narrator now? Now, the narrator found the most suitable girl for him. I told you, Shama, the narrator, carries a lot of confidence. His distress did not stop him there. He moved forward in taking those steps to see that Ranga would get married. So the narrator found the most suitable girl for him. So who is the girl? It was Rama Rao's niece, Ratna. Remember, I told you Rama Rao's niece, Ratna, who was an orphan girl, she was only 11 years old. So the narrator thought that this would be the right pair. So this Ratna lived with him after she lost her parents. So I told you Ratna was living with her uncle Rama Rao because she was an orphan and she had lost her parents. And she was a very lovable girl. She was a very sweet and a lovable girl and was talented too. Earlier I told you she would sing, violin, harmonium, everything. So she was very talented. So Shama thought, the narrator thought that Ratna is the correct pair for Ranga. So what happens going forward? The narrator plays the role of a matchmaker. In the next part of the story, the narrator is playing the role of a matchmaker. Now somehow he wanted Ratna and Ranga to meet to get to know each other. So what does he do? He calls up the wife of Rama Rao, that is Ratna's uncle, Ratna's aunt. He calls and says, send her to my house. I want to send across buttermilk to you. So Ratna visits Shama's house. So Ratna comes to the narrator's house and the narrator, while in his regular conversation, asks her to play or sing, to play an harmonium or sing a song. So you see, Ratna is in the narrator's house. She came there because the narrator wanted her to take some buttermilk back to her house. So she comes there and the narrator tells that he wants to listen to her sing and play the harmonium. Of course, in the lesson, she's draped in a sari, but I couldn't get a picture with a sari, so I have put this. Remember that Ratna is draped in the sari and she is very elegantly sitting and singing and playing the harmonium. So that is about Ratna. Now, what is the intention that Shama, the narrator, brought Ratna to his house? That's because he wanted Ranga and Ratna to meet, isn't it? So where is Ranga now? On the other side, he invites Ranga also. So Ranga comes to the narrator's house. He listens to somebody singing and somebody playing the harmonium, and that inspired him. He was overwhelmed to listen to who is this sweet voice. He didn't want to get into the house because he knew if he walked into the narrator's house, the singer, whoever was playing the harmonium, she would stop. So he did not want to stop her singing or playing. but he was very overwhelmed. He was attracted. He wanted to see who that girl was. But after that, when he walks in, what happens? So he asked Ramarao's wife to send Ratna to his house to fetch buttermilk. When she came, he asked to sing a song. At the same time, Ranga came to the narrator's house. So, moving forward, we will look at what happens when Ranga comes inside and they meet each other. There is a kind of shyness in both of them. Okay, the first sight, she was very shy. She got up and she went off inside the room. And Ranga was very amazed. He truly liked her at the first sight only. To look at her beauty, to look at her sweetness, to look at her sweet voice and the way she was singing, and that shy face of her, Ranga truly liked her. So, what is it? He stops his entry. Who is this here? Ranga stops his entry into the narrator's house because he heard somebody singing and he did not want that singer to be stopped. But he was very curious to see who is the singer. That is because he loved the voice. So he was enchanted by her. He was enchanted by her and he kept glancing at her. When he went inside and when he saw the girl, he kept glancing at her and she was shy and went inside the room. So that was the first sight, and Ranga truly liked Ratna. So, what happens next? There is disappointment. Who do you think is disappointed? It is Ranga who is disappointed. Why? Because Shama tells Ranga, when Ranga asks who she is, when Shama says that she is Ratna and she is married. So that did not go well for Ranga. He was disappointed that that girl was married. So this disappointed look was of Ranga. Now Ranga wanted to know about her. The narrator cunningly said she was married. There was disappointment in Ranga's face to know that Ratna, the girl, was married. He left after some time. So he fell in love with her, he liked her. Then, when he got to know that, she is married, okay, he did not want to stay there for a long time. He was a little disturbed and disappointed, so he leaves the place. And Shama did it cunningly. Remember, Ratna is not married. Shama did it cunningly because he wanted to see what was the expression in Ranga's face. So, moving forward, sketches a plan. Now, Shama got to know that Ranga has liked Ratna. So, what does he do? How does he plan? How does he want to get them married? So, the narrator goes to an astrologer. He meets an astrologer and he tells him the whole thing about how Ranga has liked Ratna and now he needs astrologer's help. In what way? He says that I'm going to tell that boy, you look very disturbed, go and meet the astrologer. So when he comes here, you try to read his mind and say that a girl is disturbing you and then you have to get married to that girl so that your disturbance will come out. So that was the plan. That is how the narrator tutored Shastri, the astrologer. So he planned to put up an act in front of Ranga. The narrator met Ranga. The narrator once again meets Ranga and asks him to meet Shastri. Why? Because you look very disturbed. Do one thing. You go to the astrologer Shastri. He will tell you exactly why are you so disturbed. So meet Shastri and to come out of his disturbance. So what happens next? Now Ranga goes and meets Shastri. Now the Shastri is tutored and he has to pretend, he has to speak exactly what the narrator had told him. Now the Shastri says, young boy, so nice to see you. There is something disturbing in your mind, isn't it? So Ranga says, yes. Okay, it could be that, it could be that. I vaguely see that you are liking a girl and her name starts from that, this, and finally he comes to Ratna, the name. So he says that that is a disturbance. For you to come out of the disturbance, please get married to her. That will be good for you. So he pretends as per, however, he was told to pretend by Shama. So what happens? Shastri accepted to help Ranga, told Ranga that his worry was the girl named Ratna that he was thinking of quite often. Now, Ratna was not married. That is what the Shastri says. That girl is not married, so you go and get her married. That Ranga was liking Ratna, and then for which Ranga agreed to say he wanted to get married to her. So Ranga confesses and says, yes, I really want to get married to her. Now it came out from his mouth, and Shama was very happy. So Shama and Ratna finish meeting with the Shastri. On the way back, what happens? The narrator Shama tells Ranga for some time he wanted to go to Ramarao's house and come back. So Ranga is waiting outside Ramarao's house. Who is Ramarao? Uncle of Ratna. Narrator walks in and comes back and say, hey, listen, there is a good news. Ratna is not married. Now this brings a lot of happiness for Ranga to understand that Ratna is not married. So what happens? Marriage is fixed. The narrator Shama speaks to Ratna's uncle Ramarao and tries to fix the marriage. So how did it get fixed? On the way back to the narrator, Shama visits Ratna's house. He tells Ranga that Ratna was not married, and then Ranga's face had a lot of happiness. Ramarao's Ratna's uncle was approached and the wedding was fixed. So it was very simple. The narrator goes and meets Ramarao, tells that he wants to get Ranga and Ratna married, for which Ramarao is okay. He comes out and tells Ranga that Ratna is not married, and that brings a lot of happiness, and thus the marriage is fixed. Ranga's marriage is fixed. So what happens after that? You see, after a year or so, little Shama. Now, Ranga and Ratna are married. They are getting along very well. There's a lot of happiness in them. They have a little son and they named him Shama. So why did they name him Shama? Because the reason, the person behind their marriage and happiness was the narrator Shama. So with that gratitude, they named the first child as Shama. So they visited narrator Shama's house to call him for his birthday. He was 3 years. So look at this. Ranga and Ratna get married. All idealism of Ranga was forgotten as he was totally fascinated by her beauty and her sweet voice. So whatever views that Ranga had on the marriage, okay, that went away because he was fascinated over the beauty of Ratna. Their first child was named as Shama, and then the narrator was invited on the occasion of the child's third year birthday. So that is a summary of the story Ranga's marriage. So what is that we learn out of this story? What is that message? What is that conclusion we get out of this story? The first one being, it is important to protect the culture of our homeland. It's very, very important that we protect our culture of our own homeland. That being the first message. The second one is that tradition becomes our own identity. Our identity is a tradition itself. Lastly, one should never forget their roots. When I say roots, I told you it is related to our tradition. It is related to our customs, to our culture, to our traits, to our ethics, to our language. and to the place where we belong. So we need to respect, we need to value, we need to preserve, and we need to go ahead keeping in mind all these things about our own culture and tradition is our identity. So that being said, let's move forward to understand the most important part of today's session is the expected questions. So you all know that your type 1 question for 30 to 40 to 50 words is your short answer question which will be asked for 2 marks. So what are the kind of questions from this lesson? Hosahalli. Why does the author talk with great enthusiasm? So pick up the points from the textbook. It is there in the first paragraph itself. So why does the author talk about Hosahalli in such great pride and enthusiasm? Then what is it so special about the accountant? Why was the accountant considered to be so special? And then what is special about Ranga? That's important. What is special about Ranga? What are the views of Ranga on selection of a bride? What are the views of Ranga towards marriage? How did Ranga and Ratna express their gratitude to the narrator? Ranga and Ratna, after they got married, how did they express their gratitude? So moving forward to the long answers, they are for 6 marks. 120 to 150 words. The first one is, why and how does the narrator conspire to get Ranga married? Second one, summarize the story. You have to write a short story. Summarize the story of Ranga's marriage. Describe Ranga's education and marriage. So describe Ranga's education and marriage, and what is the role of the narrator in the life of Ranga? How did narrator become an important part in the role? How did he play an important role in the life of Ratna and Ranga? So thus these are few of your question and answers. So once again, to remind you, please open your textbook and read the lesson in between the lines, and you have to understand. That's it for today. To conclude, I hope you have understood Ranga's marriage. What is the story? What is the summary? What are the moral messages? How does the story conclude? What is the central idea? What is the title? And what are the words in context along with the questions expected? With this, I hope and trust that you will surely read the lesson from your textbook. Remember, modernization should not overrule one's culture and ethics. Remember, being modern, that shouldn't take away your own culture. That shouldn't take away your tradition. That shouldn't take away your ethics. Stick on to your traits every time you move forward in your life. See you in my next session. It is going to be grammar. I will be handling the topic determiners. Until then, all smiles to you. Bye-bye.